Okay, so we can start. So let me share my slide. Mhm. So let's share the slide. Okay, you can see the slide now. Hello, don't mute yet, man. Please.
All
Can you
right.
see the slide?
Yes, I've seen it.
Uh, Okay, so
Preventive
let's
health and safety in the child care setting.
good.
Mm.
So let's start.
All right.
So we are going to look at understanding childhood injury.
Okay.
Okay. So we are going to be looking at understanding
Childhood
childhood
injury.
injuries. So where are children injured? So where are they normally injured? Injuries, most of the injury occur on the playground, accounting for 50 to 60% of all injuries in childcare settings. So that means most of the injuries that children sustain are occurs when they are playing. So with their mates, with the toys that or with the equipment in the playground. Furniture, equipment, stair, windows, slipping or tripping hazard are often involved. So they could be injured by the furniture within the care settings. They could be injured by the equipment such as the swings, the slide, and the likes. They can be injured by the staircase if it is a story building or more than one story building. They could be injured by the windows, the windows opening and closing the window. They can close the window on each other's fingers or hand, and that can cause injury. They can slide the window onto each other's hand or fingers, and that could also result in injuries. So then injuries occur in and around cars, just like the one I learned today. A child, the sibling was trying to close the door and incidentally closed it on her hand. So, and then of course there will be pain, and if possible, there can be bruises, there can be fractures, and other vehicles. How are children injured in childcare settings? When we talk about childcare settings, even the school, the crèche, and the nurseries, let's say the nursery, the crèche, and the primary schools are childcare settings because you actually take care of children there. So they can fall. So falls are the leading cause of injury. Like when they are playing, maybe they are playing football, they are running, and then there's a slip and they fall, and they most times when children fall, they used to brace themselves with any of the limbs, mostly the hand. So that's why fractures in the hands are common. They are common dislocations. These are common things that happen within the childcare settings. A child may injure another child, maybe biting, throwing objects, maybe when they are running and they are not looking at where they are going, they can collide into one another, and one may fall and hit any of the limbs or head against something, and that could cause injury. They could throw stones or objects at each other, and this could lead to injury. Children may collide with objects such as moving playground equipment like swing. This can happen when one is on a swing and the other one is bending, wants to look up, and the swing suddenly hits the forehead or the back of it. There are so many things that could cause injury. Furniture, part of the building, plants, toys, a fence, gates, anything could cause injury. Child may be caught by a sharp edge, burnt by a hot surface, hot tap water. Over there you have cold and hot tap water, especially during winter when there is a lot of heating going on. The child may incidentally touch a hot tap, and that could cause burn. They could also be poisoned by toxic objects or material. They can also, in cases like, you can have strong bleach. They go to the toilet and you don't keep your bleach very well, you don't put them away. Strong bleach can cause skin damage in children. So that could also cause burns in children. Chemicals can also cause burns in children. The risk of injury and developmental stages. Injury rates are low for infants because, of course, you'll be taking care of them, you'll be carrying them, cuddling them, so they're always tied to you. With the age of the child, and they increase with the age of the child age 2 to 5 get injured most frequently because now they started running around, they started playing with each other. So the frequency of their injury increases. The more and once they go past 5, the older they get, the more they understand dangers that could lead to them getting injured, and they kind of prevent some of these injuries. So for most infants, birth 6 months old, characteristic: they eat, sleep, cry, they suck, reflex, maybe blink, you know, pull out their tongues, you know, whine. That's what they just do. They begin grasping, they hold on to something, they can roll over unexpectedly. So that is why it is not advisable once they are about 6 months, they start rolling over. So, it is advised that when you leave them on the bed, you try and, barricade them with something they cannot roll over. But when you leave them on a flat surface, the tendency is that they can keep on rolling over until they roll to the edge of the bed and they roll off. So that needs to be, noted. Then need support of the head and neck. When you carry them, you need to support their head at the neck region because their neck is not that firm at that stage. So then of course their back, you need to support their back as well. Then learning to sit with support. So that is, you support their back. Most of the time you let them sit between your laps, you close your legs, then you rest there, you rest them against your lower limbs so that at least they can get some support, and you don't leave them unattended. Then types of injury they can have: falls from coaches, where they are sleeping, their tables, changing tables. If you leave them unattended and you want to change their diaper, I mean something, your phone ring, and you quickly want to pick your phone, they can roll over and fall. Then burn from hot liquid. They have this tendency when they are crawling and you leave hot materials around, they have the tendency to go there and grab the hot liquid, and this can cause burns. It's one of the easiest way for them to get burned. And of course, if you have naked flame like gas and every other thing, and if you use a low burner, a low level burner, they can put their hands in the gas because it will attract them. Then heat related injury. Then of course suffocation and choking. Children can choke, they can choke on their food and they can suffocate, especially when you force feed them. So that's why force feeding is not recommended in children of this age. And of course, when you give them certain medication that produces foul gene, there's a tendency they can suffocate on their own foul genes. So it is not advisable. SIDS, and then of course other sleep related infant death. When they are sleeping, especially when they sleep with their face down, you need to turn their head sideways so that at least they can breathe, because there's a tendency that if they sleep with their nose down, they can suffocate into the mattress. So you need to watch the way they sleep, so, and position them very well. So you see, child care is not child's play. Then of course mobile infants 6 to 12. Characteristic: what are their characteristic? Sit with minimal or no support. They play with open hands. They want to touch everything. They reach out for objects. They put objects in their mouth. Everything they grab, they put in the mouth. And the reason is because the reflex, their first reflex is to the mouth. So they tend to put objects in the mouth the more. Then, of course, wants to explore and play outside. They want to intimate older children. They want to imitate older children. They want to run after their siblings who are already working very well. They want to do what their siblings are doing. They begin eating table foods. They want to sit, they want to use spoons. So even when you give them spoons, you have to give them cutleries that cannot injure them. So most of the time, we advise you use soft, soft cutleries made of plastic, soft plastic cutleries. Then, of course, they are curious. They want to test, they want to touch, they want to shake. They can go to the TV and start checking the TV. That's why, for people like us who use flat screen, you need to tie it down because they will go there and start shaking it. And the thing can fall on them. The injury they can get from there is unimaginable. Then, of course, increasingly mobile, they can crawl, cruise, and walk. What are the types of injury they can sustain? Vehicle occupant injury. When you break suddenly and they are not belt down or they are not sitting in their own couch, baby seat, vehicle baby seat, there's a tendency that they can, fall out of the seat. There are tendencies where we've seen cases where children fall from, they jump from the back to the front by sudden braking of the vehicle. So falls, they can suffer burns from hot objects. They can suffer suffocation and choking because they put things in their mouth. And they put things in their mouth, they swallow. Some of us have swallowed coins and then we excrete it later. But we've swallowed coins, we swallow some things that ordinarily at old age you just be wondering, why did I put it in my mouth? That is childhood. Then SIDs and other sleep related infant death. SID are sleep induced deaths. Then shaking baby syndrome. You see, this shaking baby syndrome has been disputed. So I don't has been disputed and has been found to be a lie. So when you carry baby and you bounce them around, they talk about it affecting their brain and giving them hemorrhage, but that has been disputed. So then heat related injury, then of course drowning. If you keep buckets of water, there's a tendency they can fall into it and get drowned. So you don't keep water in buckets where you have small babies who are crawling and who are just learning to walk. Excuse me 1 minute, please.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, sorry. Just have to attend to these children. Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, okay. So then for 1 to 3 years old, you can see we are talking about the stages and then the injury peculiar to them. 1 to 3 years old like to go fast. They run. Every little thing you send them, they don't like walking. They like running. Then they are unstable. They are not very steady. So they are wobbly. Then reach for objects. Then they can go up and down staircase. It intrigues them. They want to like climb stairs, climb objects. Then they can push and pull objects. They can open car doors, drawers. gait, and all these things they are doing, they do it repeatedly. So with that repetition, there is a tendency they can get injured. Then they can throw balls and other objects. So they begin to throw things. And because they begin to throw things, there's a tendency that they can throw objects at each other and injure each other. They can walk, talk, but they cannot always express needs. So you need to probe to know what their needs are. Then they eat a greater variety of food. They can eat so many other foods now at that age. Then what are the type of injuries they can sustain? They can sustain motor vehicle injury. They can fall down and injure their arms. They can have dislocation and fractures. They can have burns, poisoning because they put a lot of things. They are still putting things in their mouth. Oh. So and they touch a lot of things that they are not supposed to touch. They can choke on their food because they want to talk at the same time they are eating. So they can choke on their food. Then they can drown. Then of course there's heat related injury. They can be injured by furniture. Then of course collision with objects when they are running, and of course they can be molested, child abuse by older people. Then preschool children, what are their characteristics? They have lots of energy. They have lots of energy. They begin making choices. They seek approval. Mommy, can I do this? Mommy, can I have chocolate? Mommy, can so they, mommy, daddy. They ask approval at every instance. Then they seek attention. If you are sitting down there with you, one has just been disturbing me now, jumping up and down. Then of course, what are the types of injury they have? Of course, they can have motor vehicle traffic injury because they can now cross road. Most of them are now going to crash. If they are left unattended, they can cross the road and get knocked down. Then of course burns. Then of course they are still susceptible to burns. Then because they want to like light the candle, they want to light the lantern, they want to light the gas, they want to light the stove, they want to do a lot of things. They see the pressing iron, they want to iron themselves. So poisoning, they can get poisoning because they take drugs anyhow. So that's why you keep drugs away from their reach. Then using tools, they want to use tools, hammer, nail cutter, uh, openers, and of course in the process they get injured. Then collision because they are always running around. Energy, the energy is there. They heat related injuries. So developmental delay. Children with developmental delay may have unique risk for injury. For more information on developmental milestones and developmental delays, go to CDC websites. Okay. So for this one, if you are working with children with dementia or learning disability, they will communicate you on the special needs of those children. And of course, they will tell you what to expect from their age. So
Hello, sir.
preventing childhood injuries. I'm with you. Where's the
Okay.
network? Preventing childhood injuries. Then you have SIDs, other sleep related issues. This shaking syndrome, I've talked about that. Brain injury and concussion. Maybe when they hit their head against something, they can have concussion, and of course, those are brain injuries that can affect them. Then, of course, they can have child abuse. So there are issues about child abuse. We need to know how to prevent child abuse. We need to know how to prevent burns and fire. Then, of course, heat illnesses, maybe like suffocation due to heat, choking, you know, heat stroke and the like. So you need to know how to get them properly ventilated. Then choking, strangulation, suffocation, falls are issues that we need to look at. Poisoning, lead poisoning. Lead poisoning has to do with petrol and some other chemicals that may contain lead. Then drowning in water, so empty stagnant water and ensure that wells are well covered. And of course, young children disaster should be young children and disaster is something we need to monitor. Then child passenger safety when there are children in your vehicle, that means you need extra care. Then field trip safety. When you are going on a field trip, you need to take extra care. Then school bus safety. So the school bus must be designed in such a way that there will be minimal or zero injury to children. How do we design our own? We had issue of we had a case where some children were coming from school and the school bus caught fire because of the agronomy, the way the school bus was designed. I think it was around Alakia. Some of those children died. They got burnt in the vehicle. So these are issues that one needs to look around. These are child health issues and they should not be taken with levity. So active supervision. Set up your space so that it is free of clutters and hazard and you have easy access to the children. Position yourself so you can see and hear every child and respond quickly if need be. So when you are in a care setting where you are dealing with children, you need to position yourself in such a way that you can know when a child is, if a toddler is going out of, the range area, so you quickly go and bring them in. And of course, that depends on if you work with child settings, but these are issues that can come up. Then, of course, scan and count so you know the number of children you have. If you are working in the school and you work with children, especially when you go on excursion, they tend to want to stray off. So you need to keep on counting and keep on ensuring that they are all in the cycle. Say, know your neighbor, so, okay, Timmy, you are with Dayo, you are with Lara, you are with Chinwe, monitor Biodun. You attach them to one another so that they can account for one another. And then of course the moment you notice that one of them is not in that pair, you quickly say, okay, where's your partner? And they say, oh, he's there. So that helps you to triangulate and monitor them. Then listening for signs of potential danger or warning. Anticipate children's behavior so that you prepare for how to deal with it. So, and this will help prevent serious injuries or something that is dangerous happening to them. Pay attention to when children are unable to solve problems on their own, so you can redirect them. So, because when they are unable to solve issues on their own, they get frustrated, and of course, their reaction, they get moody, they can push each other, they can do a lot of things. So, you need to be able to redirect their energy and channel it to the right uh, cause. Sudden infant death syndrome, these are sleep related uh, infant death. SID is the death of an infant younger than age 1 that is unexplained after a thorough scene investigation, autopsy, or review of clinical history. 90% of SID deaths occur before an infant reaches 6 months of age and peak between 1 and 4 months of age. Other sleep related infant deaths include suffocation, asphyxia, entrapment when they are caught somewhere and they cannot move and they get stuck and they die. Then strangulation. Children can be strangulated. They can be strangulated, and that strangulation may even be from clothing around. They get entangled in their clothing, in their beddings, and in trying to move and free themselves, they can get strangulated. So you don't have to, parenting is very, 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 very serious business. So is childcare. Childcare is no child's play, like I said. So people needs to be, you know, well attuned to their responsibility. So SIDS and child care. Research shows that unexpected infant death in child care were more likely to happen during the first week. Infants are at a greater risk when they are used to sleeping on their back at home and are placed on their stomach to sleep in child care. So if they are not used to sleeping on their stomach and you place them on their stomach, they will sleep with their face down. That's why I say you must position them in such a way that they sleep with their head to the side. Allowed to sleep in an unsafe environment in childcare, for example, a car seat. When they position their neck and their neck is somehow, you know, it may reduce the way they breathe, and it can lead to suffocation. Strollers, futon, pillows, or bean bags. So this is a way some child sleep, in a crèche. If this child is sleeping like this, you can see there's no support to the side. So you need to support the side, because if this child is at the age 6, there's a tendency he or she will be rolling, and in rolling over may roll onto the face and sleep with the face down, and that could cause suffocation. So how to reduce the risk of SIDS in childcare? Always put infant to sleep on their back until age 1. Place infant on a firm mattress with fitted cribs sheet in a crib play yard that meets the Consumer Product Safety Commission safety standard. Keep the crib free of toy, mobile, soft objects, stuffed animals, pillows, bumper, pad, blanket. So if the crib, if you look at this crib, it is not big enough for that child to roll over and sleep on the face. So if the crib is not too big, so by the time he rolls, you have to go back. By the time he rolls to the other side, you have to go back. But if you have too much space, there's a tendency they will roll and roll over to their face. So don't, because there is money and then you now go and build a stadium size crib for a small baby. No, 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 no. That is not child care. That is even child abuse. So these are the things that we need to take care of. How to reduce the risk of SID in childcare? Continue. Do not overdress the infant, because like I said, they may get tangled in their clothing and it may cause suffocation. No more than 1 layer, of course, and it also may cause heat stroke, and heat stroke kills. No more than 1 layer, no more than 1 layer than an adult. So if you wear one, they can wear two. If you wear the singlet and an outer clothing, you may give them like three. If it is cold, the maximum you do is you wear a jumper suit for them. Then keep infant head uncover for sleep. Remove bibs and clothing with hoods, because it might cover their face and get them entangled and it can cause suffocation. If additional warmth is needed for sleep, a one piece blanket, slipper, or sleep sack may be used. That one will not cause them to suffocate. It's just something that will get to their chest region and cover their chest. If additional, okay, that's ventilate the sleeping area, keep temperature comfortable for a lightly clothed adult. Actively observe sleeping infant by sight and sound. Do not allow infant to sleep on a sofa or couch, chair, cushion, bed, pillow like we will do. We go and put the child on a, that is what we do here. Go and put the child on a couch is not advisable. Or we put them in a car seat and say because they can roll over and God. Even on the plane, when a child wants to sleep, they have a bed for babies and they will strap them in such a way that even when the plane is bumping, the child will not feel it. If an infant fall asleep any place other than a crib, move the infant to the crib right away. If infant arrives asleep in a car seat, move the infant to a crib right away. Space crib 3 feet apart with one infant per crib. So the reason to space it apart is that so that they won't be breathing into one another. If provided, okay, if provided by the parent, offer a pacifier for sleep, something that will make them to fall asleep. Then do not attach pacifier to an infant clothing. You know, there can be something that is singing or whatever. Just most crib will have an attachment where you can put it. If they do not have, do not add. When able to roll back and forth from back to front, place infants to sleep on their backs and allow them to assume a preferred sleep position. So this infant sleeping plan, of course, you will get to see this when you go into your employment over there. Then safe infant sleep supervision. Check sleeping infant every 15 minutes and document. Look for sign of distress including but not limited to labor breathing, flush skin color, increase in body temperature and restlessness. Refer to sample log for documenting. So this is the sample log for documenting every 15-minute check. More ways to reduce risk of sudden infant death syndrome in childcare. Keep your child care program smoke free because if the child has asthmatic, you may not know until you trigger it. If the child has pneumonia, you may not know until you trigger it. Support breastfeeding families. Then provide supervised tummy time. You know, supervised tummy time is when you place them on the tummy and you rock them. So this tummy time. So you can see the ear track is free, so the child can sleep easily with this picture. So what about swaddling? Some newborns and young infants may swaddle for sleep at home. Swaddling of an infant is not allowed in child care program. The risk of death is high if swaddled infants are placed on or rolled onto their stomach. If a child home, so if a child home swaddle, if a child home, okay, in a child home, swaddling should not be used once an infant shows sign of trying to roll over, usually before an infant is 3 months. So these are some of the cautions. So in a child care home, don't swaddle the child. So, but and especially for children who have the tendency to be rolling over, you know, children who are almost age what do you call it? Age 3 months, they start to roll over at that age. So don't swaddle them. So
Please, what is
the,
this swaddling?
I know you want to ask. So it is when you wrap a child in a garment.
Okay.
So like tẹ bá fi aṣọ wí ọmọ tẹ wí ọmọ.
Mm-hmm.
So that is what is meant by swaddling. So ọmọ tó
Okay.
bá ti ń rò ṣe mọ̀ pé tẹ bá ti wé ẹ ti tighten ẹ̀
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
kò ní rí ọwọ́ tó máa fi fẹ́ roll
Mm.
over so
Mm.
ó máa yí so ó máa dangerous fún irú ọmọ
Okay.
bẹ́ẹ̀ then ọmọ
Mm.
tẹ bá dà yẹ̀ délẹ̀ a child that is on the tummy tẹ
Okay.
bá swaddle ẹ̀
Mm.
bóyá
So
ó
the
dẹ̀
pepper.
experience ó experience difficulty ó fẹ́ dìde
Okay.
yàgò kò sọ́wọ́ tó fẹ́ fi dìde mọ́.
Okay. I understand
That
that.
is why we say it is not permitted in
I
child
get
care
it.
setting. It's not
Okay.
permitted. Tó bá ń ṣe nílé, the parent will of course be carrying that child at that point in time.
Mm.
So but you cannot be carrying if you have more than one, you have like 3, 4, 5 children you want to attend to, you can't be carrying
Mm.
one about.
Okay.
Then the time shaking baby syndrome, so see what I've talked about. Describe a set of syndrome seen in infants who have sustained a head injury from shaking. I told you that. They said they have trauma to the brain. But me, I don't believe that. I think the man that postulated this thing, in fact, that man nearly, because it almost caused some parents to go to jail. I was in UK when this one came up. Yeah, I remember I was in London then. The doctor, in fact, the doctor was heavily reprimanded because he almost landed some parents in jail and accused them of the death of their children because those children that and he now postulated the shaking baby syndrome. So, but of course, let's just read what they say. They said the term shaking abusive head trauma may also be used. Abusive head trauma includes the various ways a child could suffer a head injury as a result of abuse such as shaking, dropping, throwing, hitting, or hitting child's head against a surface or object while shaking. It's different from rocking a baby o ṣe get nǹkan tí mo sọ. So in our own uh, settings, the way our mother will shake a child when they are bathing them, they will shake the hand shake, and then turn them upside. If you do that in front of a white
Ooh. Ẹ̀wọ̀n dé nìyẹn.
so grandma, if you go with grandma or grandma come and do omugo ọlọ́jọ́ bí ọmọ, tell grandma if
You
there
will
are
not.
visitors here, don't come and baff the child in the sitting room like you used to do in Nigeria. And then don't bath the child in front of a visitor. These days when we have mobile phone, before you know
Mm.
it, before you can say Jack Robinson, ó ti dé home office o.
Mm.
So let's be careful. So then abusive head trauma, shaking baby syndrome may result in partial or total blindness, hearing loss, because by the time you are shaking those children, oyinbo children different from our own na wacky children.
Mm.
So they have this internally built gyroscope that stabilizes their brain.
Mm.
So they are programmed to withstand the stress, but children over there are not. So then because when you shake the head vigorously, there's what we call there are fluid in the brain, and then the distribution of the fluid in the ear might be affected, and this may affect the child and cause hearing loss, can cause paralysis, can lead to problem with motor neuron development, can cause problem with executive functions such as walking, talking and the likes, can cause attention, memory and behavioral problem, can cause seizure such as epilepsy and the like, can cause cerebral palsy, can cause sucking and swallowing disorder, it can cause intellectual disability, and it can cause speech language delay. So this one is, they have a retinue of problems that they can say what you are doing may likely cause, and then they subject the child to a lot of clinical evaluation, and of course the mother may be, refer for psychiatric evaluation. So infant crying, infants are unable to express their needs and feelings using words, instead they cry. Infant may have colic or other kind of pain and discomfort leading to crying. A phase of alarming cry is considered a normal phase in child development. Strategies for soothing a crying infant include gentle rocking, carrying, singing, providing white noise, and offering a pacifier. So, uh, white noise. I've never heard of that one. Oh. So what's white noise? Let's find out what white noise. I believe should be noise that are just okay, harmless to the baby. So okay, what there are noises containing many frequency with equal uh, intermittence. So just like whoosh, 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 whoosh. Something you just make a noise constantly. It attract them and soothe them. They want to like focus on the noise, and then they stop crying. Then caregiver may experience anger or frustration over prolonged crying. It is normal, even parents do. Then caregiver needs strategies to cope with a crying, fussy or distraught baby. If a baby is a cry baby, you need to find something that will interest the child and make the child to cry less. They don't beat children there. So just then strategy to cope, manage your stress and practice self-care. Be aware of feelings of increasing frustration of anger. Once you are getting frustrated, calm yourself down, do what makes you, your feel good strategy, employ it at that point in time. Use the calming strategies that work for you. That's what I mean by your feel good strategy. For example, take a deep breath or a few minutes of counting, something you do that can calm you down. If you are unable to bring your frustration under control or on your own, then find a way to take a break from the situation without leaving the children unsupervised. Remember, it is never okay to shake a baby or strike a baby. I said it, they know they beat children there. So you can do your yoga to calm yourself down. So watch for, okay, identifying shaking baby syndrome, change in mood, behavior, appetite, breathing, eye, head or eye movement, bruising around the neck, the chest, bleeding around the eye, swelling of the head, forehead or soft spot, anything that will show that the child has fallen or has an head injury, change in muscle tone, ability to lift head, tremor, seizure, so traumatic brain injury and concussion. TBI is a type of brain injury that change the way the brain normally works. A bomb, blow or jolt to the head can cause TBI. A blow to the body that cause the head and brain to move rapidly back and forth can also cause a TBI. A concussion is most common type of TBI. This TBI can be caused by Okada rider when they drop a child suddenly, a child fall off an Okada or had an accident on Okada. The brain, the head is left unprotected and they fall, and of course may God save us. We know we can't do without doing that in this country, but may God just keep us safe. So Use a child safety seat belt so that you can prevent it when they are in the vehicle, when they are riding bicycle or skateboarding or playing sports, protect their head. So install window guards and stair safety gates at home. If you have a staircase, have the one that has a lock. It's only when they get older and are able to unlock doors that they'll be able to open that one. So at that age, they should be able to walk down the stair or up the stair safely. Then avoid shaking your baby. Lemon, okay, avoid this shaking baby syndrome that they are talking about. Then what is child abuse? Child abuse is a non-accidental injury or pattern of injury to a child which there is no reasonable explanation. If you are beating a child, once they see mark, it's a part and you consistently do it. It is not accidental. You just intentionally beat the child, you know, to the point where the child starts having injury. It is frowned at seriously. Child abuse is usually a pattern of behavior, not a single act, like I've just said. It is not something that just happen one off, something that one do consistently. Then it can be a physical abuse when you beat the child, strike the child, push the child, choke the child. Then it can be emotional when you consistently abuse the child with raining curses on the child, swearing at the child. Then it can be sexual when you touch the child where you are not supposed to, especially this is where people that are related causes a lot of this. Then neglect, when you neglect the child to the point where the child sustain an injury or feel emotional deprivation. Ways to prevent child abuse: building trust relationship with families. Your child should be able to tell you what is happening to him or her. Provide information on child development. Help families build positive relationship with their children. Let the father and the mother be able to relate well with their children. Model positive communication and good child practice. Tell them how best to communicate with their children and how best to listen to their children. Then host parenting workshop for families. Of course, host parenting workshop, where you can talk to families about child abuse and child safety. Then way to, of course, it continues, know the sign of family distress and offer support. Where the mother and the father are not in good terms, of course it will affect the child emotionally. Where either of the parents are maybe financially down and is causing a strain on the child, it will affect the child emotionally. So you need to maybe step in and offer advice. Refer families to community resources, especially families that are struggling financially or emotionally, needs to be referred to community resources, child care, child welfare and the likes. Then educate young children about their right to say no when they are being abused, to say enough. Then inform parents that you are required by law to report suspected child abuse. So if you tell them, if I feel your child is being abused and I'm able to establish it, I will report you to the appropriate authority. It is not a crime. So as a mandated reporter, you are required to report known or suspected child abuse or to child protective service. You need to report them to the infant welfare or child welfare. Then call CPS or child welfare for advice. If you are not sure about what you are observing, just tell them, okay, this is my observation, what do you think I should do? They will tell you what to do. Call 911 or 991 if the child is in immediate danger or need urgent medical care. Call the police. Child care providers are required to take mandated reporter training about how to spot indicator of possible child abuse or neglect, how to talk to children about suspected abuse, how to make a report, what happens after a report is filed. Then burns and fire, we are in burns and fire. Burns can be caused by contact with hot object or surface, hot liquid or steam, fire, electricity or chemical. Like I said the other time, chemicals like hot bleach, strong bleach, or even acid or strong base can cause burns. Hot liquid, not fire, are the most common cause of burns to children because they'll pull it. Hot teas, hot choco, all those ones. Then children are curious and don't recognize danger. So they don't know when it is hot, they don't know when not to touch. So you need to take all those things away from them. Install smoke detector. Maintain a working fire extinguisher. Put barriers around fireplace, radiator or hot pipe. Don't use portable open flame. Like I said, if you use the ones that are not placed on the table, or the table are not high, or they are not high enough for the child not to be able to touch the open flame, or space heater in. So don't use portable open flame or space heater in play areas. Then cover electric outlets. Don't overload electric wiring. Keep the temperature of your hot water at 100 degree Fahrenheit, or about 40 degrees C. Check the water temperature before bathing a child. Put your hand in the water first. If it burns you, it will burn the child. If you feel it that is hot, it's not burning you, definitely it will still burn the child. So it must be lukewarm to you before you bath your children with it. Some people will put water meant for garri or eba, and then they say they want to bath their child with it. Burn and fire prevention, food and drinks. Keep children out of cooking area. Don't drink hot beverage or carry anything hot near a child because it can spill over and spill on them. Don't eat bottles in microwave, it can explode. Test hot food before giving it to a child. Taste it first. So then keep hot food and drink away from the edges of table because it can be pulled, especially when you have tablecloth. The child can pull it and pull those hot things on themselves, and this can cause serious burn. And table counter off table with tablecloth. Use the rear burner for cooking. Turn hot handles toward the rear or center. So when you have your burners, always use the one at the rear because it will be a little bit difficult for them to pull those things to themselves. Store all chemicals, matches and lighter out of reach of children. Teach children to stay away from hot things and not to play with matches, lighter, chemicals, electric equipment. Always tell them um the danger involved. Plan a safe fire escape. Conduct regular fire and evacuation drill using different exits. Teach children how to stop, drop and roll over. So in case of a fire. Then step to prevent heat illnesses. Plan outdoor activity for cooler times of the day. Don't go and put them in the sun, it can cause heat stroke. Provide shade, trees or canopy. Take regular water break, let them drink plenty of water, especially on hot days. Wear loose fittings, lightweight colored light colored clothing. If you use heavily colored clothing like black colored clothing, it will attract heat. Use white, cream and leaf green, light blue, all those things that will reflect out heat. Then watch for sign of heat exhaustion. Elevated body temperature is a sign. Cool and clammy skin is a sign. Goosebump all over them is a sign. Dizziness weakness, headache, irritability, when they are irritated, fainting, they faint, sweating profusely, thirst, cramps, then of course nausea and vomiting. So these are a little what do you call it, snapshots of heat related illness. You- okay, I think we call it snap card. Yes, snap card. Then okay, another snap cards. Okay, choking. We are almost at the mid where we will stop. So choking prevention. Okay, so sorry, choking prevention. Pins, coins, this coin, I've swallowed coins well well. Then nails, toothpick, these are things that can choke them. Jewelries, rings and the likes. So mama, mommy, keep rings away from children. It can fall in their food and they will eat it and choke them. Then game pieces like ludo, uh, dice and the likes. Then buttons, of course, that those can choke also. Small toys, jack, jacks, marbles, crayons, batteries, button batteries. All these button battery like this one you are seeing me touching here, this one, the one you put in your clock. So those ones can also, your wristwatch can choke children, wristwatch or your calculators. Then of course suffocation, something that can cause suffocation. Nylon bags, plastic bag, keep it away from children. Balloons is made of latex, can choke them. Even your gloves can choke them. Disposable glove, of course, I stated that. Then toy chest with no ear holes can choke them. They put their head there, it can choke them. Cords from window blinds and drapes, you know your curtains, if they have loose cords, those things can choke them, especially the one you use to, for window blinds that you use to uh, adjust your window blinds. Then ropes and strings, keep it away from them. Never place a crib near a window because they will pull the drapes and they can use it to entangle themselves. Don't drape blanket over a crib rail or attach hanging toys mobiles to the crib. Use approved cribs and play yards. Use approved cribs and play yards. So falls are single greatest cause of injuries in child care environment. They are most common cause of injury requiring medical care. Children of all ages can fall. Preventing fall is the greatest challenge to a safe environment. Of course, it's not easy to prevent falls when you have many children to take care of. Reduce the risk of fall. Note, look at this child now. There's a tendency this child can fall and hit the head on the ground or get a broken limb. So make sure you don't allow them to swing on open bars like this. Then make sure equipment is in good repair, inspected for safety and developmentally appropriate. So you know the age and you know the equipment that is appropriate for their age. Use durable balanced furniture that will not tip over easily. Place gates at the top and bottom of stairs so that you prevent them from running freely up and down, unless crawling up and down, unless they get to the age where they can walk, open the lock, go themselves and come back and close the lock again. So install window guards and safety latches so that it is something they cannot open easily. Pick up toys and other objects from the floor so that they don't trip over them. Clean up spills right away so that they don't trip over spills. Don't use slippery floor finishes. Use a floor finish that you use ordinarily in your kitchen. So because kitchen slip finishes like tiles and the like are always grip firm. firm grips, so they are not the one that is easily tripped over. Then remove loose and slippery rugs. Adapt your space for children with special mobility needs so that they can move easily, especially those that are using wheelchair or crutches. Maintain safety and developmentally appropriate playgrounds. Reducing the risk of fall supervision. Don't allow children to climb on furniture. Never leave infant or toddler unattended on a bed, changing table or other high object because they will roll over and fall. Enforce rules for where children can run. Tell them, don't run over there. If you run out, you go to detention. They have detention. That's what they use to scare their children. They don't beat them. So detention means you isolate them for a while, or they will stay beyond the time they should go home. Then enforce rules for playground safety consistently. For example, no running up slide, one only one person on a slide, etc. Poisoning occur from many common items found around our home or child environment. So you can have poisoning. Poisoning can occur by eating or drinking. When they eat or drink something that is contaminated or poisonous or injurious to them. Contact with their skin, such as lead, when it comes in contact with their skin, bleach and the likes. Getting in the eye, bleach and the likes. Kerosene, petrol, gasoline and the like. Puncture wounds and animal or insect bites. That insect bite now plenty for Africa. So then poisoning poisoning prevention environment. Keep everything that could poison a child out of the reach of the children, including drugs. Store purses away from children's playground. Create a special place for family and visitor to put their purse and backpack when they are there for a short time, because the child can go there and pick any object from there that can lead to poisoning. Check with your local waste management about how to safely dispose of hazardous or poisonous material you don't need. Prevention continue. Routinely inspect childcare area for health and safety hazard. Remove hazard immediately. Provide active supervision at all times. Teach poison prevention to children. Never call medication candy. Tell them this is drugs. Don't say it's a candy, because when you are not there, they go and take it. Then keep the number of poison control center near a phone, so that of course it can be easily reached. Medication, prescription and non-prescription should be kept away. They are, of course, they are hazard. Cosmetics, they are hazard. Cleaning, sanitizing and disinfecting products are hazard, such as bleach, Dettol, Lysol and the likes. Then art and craft material, paints, water paint, color paint, all those paints, they are hazardous material. Batteries can be hazardous material. Automobile products, that's automotive product. Gardening product, pesticide, certain plant and mushrooms can be poisonous. In this case, they can give what we call aflatoxins. Then of course, lead containing paint, dust, soil, plumbing fixtures and potteries can also cause poisoning. Lead poisoning prevention. Lead poisoning is one of the most common and preventable environmental illness. It can also come from your batteries, especially this thing car batteries. So if you are not using your car battery, dispose of it. Don't put it in the house where the children can get access to it. And when you are using rechargeable batteries, such as battery from what do you call these ones? Batteries from inverters, once they go bad, they can start emitting
lead, dispose of them. Once they are bad, dispose of them. There's no need keeping them around the house. Around 1 in 100 children under age 5 old in California are found to have elevated blood level of lead. Children are more vulnerable to lead toxic effects. A blood lead level of 3.5 microgram per liter per deciliter or higher is considered elevated. However, no safe blood lead level in children has been identified. So any lead level in children is considered to be poison. CDC recommend children with blood level at or below or at or above blood level reference value of 3.5 microgram per deciliter to be referred for follow-up. So children exposed to okay, why are children at risk? Children explore the environment using their hand and mouth. So because of that, they are exposed to some of these hazard. They spend a lot of time on the floor and ground where sources of lead may be found. Then if you have uncovered ground or ground covered with materials that contains lead, then children absorb more ingested lead than adults. So what are the effects of lead? Lead can affect a child's learning behavior, physical development. Lead, of course, it causes anemia, and lead poisoning may occur altogether. How do I know if a child is poisoned with lead? Most children with lead poisoning don't look or act sick. Testing is the only way to know. Healthcare providers should assess children for risk of lead exposure at every well child visit up to age 6. Children with risk factor should have a lead level test. Maybe their father work in a garage, and when they close they go to those garage, so they are exposed to lead. Children in publicly funded program for low income children, e.g. Head medical, health and disability program are required to have a blood lead level test at 12 and 24 months of age. What are the possible sources of lead? Lead-based paint at home before 1978. So that means all the paint in their country as at 1979 upward are lead-free. Paint that peels, crack, chips or crest dust in homes built before 1978. Of course, those peels or cracks or chips will contain left leftover lead, because lead does not decay easily. Then vinyl mini blinds, all these blinds that are made of vinyls. Then beer debts, that is the floor, old artificial turfs, grasses, then rubber, mulch, artificial surfaces. So water from well or running through pipe that contain lead will also, of course, that's why it is nobody's using galvanized uh, pipe again. Those galvanized pipe, iron pipe, nobody should be using it again. Toy, particularly those that are old painted plastic or vinyl or imported, if they are imported in country where lead is not being monitored. Some imported food, including candy, spices and seasoning, can contain lead, of course. Some home remedies, makeup and jewelries. Then some handmade or imported pottery, dishes and water crocks. Then possible lead poisoning continue. Lead brought in on clothes, shoes by parents who are exposed at work. When the father work a in a garage or a battery manufacturing plant, of course they will definitely be exposed to lead. Then some hobbies such as making stained glass, lead soldering, hunting or firing ranges, lead pellets, fishing, lead sinker can expose the child to lead poisoning. Then property near busy highway and some industries, because lead can be emitted in gasolines, this our petrol. So it is not good enough, to expose children unduly to petrol. Teach parents about lead poisoning. Encourage parents to have their child screen for lead. Reduce lead exposure in your facility. Remove or wipe shoe worn indoors. Promote good nutrition. So let's just get to 70, then I think we can stop. Okay, reducing environmental exposure. Check toys, furniture, equipment for chipping paint. All these chipping paint may contain lead. So do not use supplies, equipment, or old toys or imported toys unless you know they are safe and are lead free. So you check with the manufacturer. Inspect and address sources of lead monthly. See curriculum booklet for lead exposure checklist. Reducing environmental exposure. Wash toy regularly, especially toys and pacifiers that are frequently mounted by the children. Clean floor and surfaces regularly by mopping and vacuuming, washing and rinsing. Then lead in tap water. Most tap water in California, but okay. So you need to find out if your tap was made uh, of galvanized pipe. If not, then you are safe. If it is, then find out if it contains lead. And if leaded, you know that water cannot be used. And if unleaded, then you know it is safe. So always contact your local public health uh, for more information about that. So this is a convenient place for us. We are going to stop here for today. That's 70. We have gone more than halfway. So tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Let's agree. I don't want to come online and be waiting. You can unmute. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Yes, so I think we should stop here for today.
We try 70 out of
So
103.
we have uh so we have just like 50 slides more to go.
Yeah.
By tomorrow we should be able to. So by tomorrow we should be through with module
With 3.
3.
Yeah.
So and that means we just have one more module
Wow.
after that.
Then exam.
Then exam. Then exam finally.
Finally.
Even module 3 is not as much as, in fact, just 40 something. That one is just a day. So if we hurry up tomorrow, we can take part of module 3 tomorrow self.
All right. I'll, by God's grace, tomorrow. Tomorrow, what time? What time should we fix tomorrow?
I want it to come from you so that when I'm here and you don't come, you pay penalty, you pay me fine.
Because by tomorrow evening, tomorrow morning, I won't be around. By 4 to 7 tomorrow, I won't be around. Yeah. So
4 to 7. 4 to
I'll
7
go,
in the evening.
yes, I'll go to church.
Okay. Okay. So when do you want us to have it tomorrow? I'll be
In
free
the
from
afternoon,
12.
okay. So maybe we should have it 12 then.
No, I'll be free from 12.
No problem.
12
I'll
till,
make
so let's
myself
say 12 to
available.
2. Between 12,
All
we'll be able
right,
to,
sir.
between 10 and 1, we should be able to finish it. So I'll be
Okay.
available tomorrow.
No problem. No problem. That's okay by me.
Okay. So, Sister Buki,
I'll talk
I
to
hope,
her.
I hope she'll be able to make it. Oh. This
Yeah.
businesswoman,
On our
she dey
money,
try.
ọ̀rẹ́ mi
Ah,
ń wá owó gan owó ni. Na money kan.
okay.
Money has
Ah,
started sorting. Nope.
okay. I don't hear you.
Bye bye. Yes, sir.
Okay,
This one is
bye.
not. This one is not streamline on YouTube.
It is.
This,
I will share it with her because I'm not sure she's
okay.
there. I'll just share
Okay.
it now. We have
Because when
streamed
I
it.
have a network issue now, I joined via YouTube, and it was not there. It was the last one that was.
I didn't. I forgot to post it. I forgot to post the link.
Let me see that.
But it was streaming, so I can even post the link now. So you can go back and watch at your leisure.
All right, sir.
So I'll post the link now. So
All right, thank
that's the
you.
link. So I
All right,
posted the
sir.
link.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, you are welcome.
Yes, sir. My regards to family, to your children and your wife.
They are here. Oh, they are here.
Hey, my co-teachers, how are you? My
Yeah,
God.
mommy is greeting you. Just say hi. Say hello. Dunko.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you for your
that's
time.
it.
Oh.
Yes, ma.
Yes,
Hold on,
sir.
ma. All
All
right,
right.
ma.
Good night.
Good night. Good
Good
night, ma.
night.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
ma. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, my co-students.
Bye. My God, student.
You are listening in.
Yes.
All right, ma. Good night.
My
Yes, sir.
brother Zion, he said that he's not co-student.
Don't mind Ayo. Don't mind Ayo.
Okay.
Bye bye.